little dear friend sitting on the sand pile. Hi, buddy. I'm in the cucumber greenhouse. Cucumbers, cucumbers, cucumbers. This is where the cucumbers should have been planted if they had grown properly for transplants. But I'm going to go ahead and finally pull out all of this lettuce and at least get some orach seeded in here. This is not the order in which I'm supposed to be doing things today, but I saw the lettuce, I wanted it out. I'm done with lettuce. I have so much lettuce in the garden, I'm pulling it out. Okay, done. I was tired of that lettuce eyeballing me. It was making me nervous. I cut back all of the chard, and then in this back row, I pulled out everything, the lettuce and the chard, to give my little orach planting here a chance to get some light. And then when I have an overcast day, this back row, I'm gonna go ahead and plant some more orach. What I was supposed to be doing was weeding out here while we have a couple sunny days. Let the weeds lay out there and die. And then I was also supposed to be cutting the clover. This is a dwarf clover, so it doesn't get, a whole lot taller than 8 inches or something. But you can see it's kind of shading out my little chard friends. Before, after, all shaved down, and a wheelbarrow full of clover and stuff. Hi. So I think that this kale is tall enough it's going to survive its clover experience. And this is the patch, you could hardly tell, that I harvested the 2 rows last week. I just grabbed the center, and so I need to cut this outer edge here and get it all cleaned up. Before and after. And a pile of lettuce for the compost to gobble. Mmm, delicious. Yesterday, I cleared out all of the weeds that were on this side. This side is a jungle, and I need to make room for the little bit of basil that I have started. Now, I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I need to start more basil. I monkeyed everything up. Last week, I talked about how I monkeyed up my cucumber and basil starts. Well, I really only need half a bed, 1.5 beds, I think, of basil, because that's what I did last year. So I don't know why I started so many basil. So I may have all the basil I need, actually. So I need to clear out like about 30 spaces for basil. Let there be light, and there was light. I'm gonna keep my little lettuce trees and kale trees and orach trees at the ends here. And this is going to be basil. Okay, so I thought before I started hacking at this clover that I would talk about why I'm doing this. So first of all, I got the idea from Elliot Coleman in his book, The New Organic Grower. He plants maybe 3 rows of clover between, in a bed, whereas I just broadcast a bunch down. This is a clover, so it fixes nitrogen from the air into little nodules on its roots. Also then, when you cut it, you can use that material in compost. The other thing is it shades out other weeds that might grow, like these grasses here. When it's hot, like we've had some hot weather and things are the soil can get really dry, so it prevents, evaporation from the soil. And I noticed that the slugs, the little slugs that come out in the spring, almost prefer to eat the clover than like the kale or the chard. The problem with that then is that it's slug habitat. And so last year I just cut everything back. I put down strips of cardboard, and once it rains and those get wet, the slugs like to live underneath that, so I can pull those back and get the slugs. Then what do I do when I've got clover? If I don't have a tall crop like a kale or chard, what if I'm planting lettuce the next year? Then the clover would totally outgrow that lettuce and shade out the lettuce. You know, when I was prepping the beds this spring, I just took a mixture of that seaweed and soil and put it on top of the bed, and I just haven't really had any problems with clover popping up again. This is what I'm doing until I can get my riding lawnmower. Cutting away with my little clover buddies, and the deer friend is over there eating skunk cabbage leaves. Hey, buddy. Before. After. So I cut these 2 rows here, and I didn't get very much green because there's a lot of brown. I don't know if you can see that, but a lot of, oh, I totally missed this lettuce here. There's a lot of brown tips on these guys, and you can't see it on the red, you know, so I was able to get a lot more leaf. I think, you know, it's just cosmetic or whatever, but it just looks gross. So I didn't get very much out of this green. So the mix this week is going to be a lot more red. The leaf is so clean that I'm just tempted to like mix it together and fill the bags and not wash. I realize, like, I was kind of like depressed this morning and just like, oh God. I hate processing lettuce mix. I never saw myself as the lettuce mix person. It just happened to be that the lettuce grows great. The slugs don't bother it that much. The baby chard grows great. It's taking me way too long to cut. I've got to figure that out. The orach does good. It sells great. I make money on it. But I hate the idea of, you know, the wet and everything and spinning things. And I think maybe part of it is that, you know, the whole setup is just all kind of janky still right now. I mean, here I am blessed with this really nice wash station, but it's kind of like, you know, I'm still hand spinning things. I just harvested for the first time some green onions from my green onion patch. The radishes are kind of growing a lot of leaf. And I think they're shading out my leeks. So I might need to yank them out when I get a chance. Anyway, gotta prep these. I got my salad mixes done. I actually washed them. I stopped whining. I stopped whining. And I prepped my lettuce mix bags. Anyway, yeah. Hi. It started raining. It started raining last night or whenever. Thank goodness it was getting kind of dry and dusty out here. So I thought that I might have enough basil this week to get everybody at least like a little bunch or whatever, but just didn't quite look like that. I was looking at the damage on these leaves. And then I looked around here. That is a caterpillar. That is caterpillar poop. I don't usually have caterpillar problems, you know, in the basil, so that's probably just a singular incident. Now this looks like slug damage. So that is typical for basil. And I'm gonna have to go slug hunting. Did I tell you guys that I've been able to get parsley? This rain is just like totally lodged these fellows. But I've been getting like about 4 bunches of parsley. My parsley experiment underneath my garlic, I'm sure these would have grown a lot better if they hadn't been shaded out, you know, but I don't know. I gotta get some of these garlic scapes that are left over here. Hey there! I'm out in the basil greenhouse with my little basil starts. It was overcast earlier today. The sun's come out, so it's actually pretty warm in here. Ooh, might have to open things up. Anyway, I've got a few spaces in here kind of marked for these little starts. They're kind of sad little starts, but hopefully they make it. I've got the single ones in, but the ones that are growing like double buddies, I'm gonna try and tease them apart and plant them. Eeks. Okay, the ravens are screeching out there. I've got all these little guys planted. Some of them were sketchier than others, like these little fellows. I'm gonna water them in real carefully and hope for the best. Okay, basil done in the cucumber greenhouse. And I think I was gonna plant some orach into this bed that I cleared, you know, all the lettuce and stuff. But I think the first thing I'm gonna do is string up these cucumbers because some of them are threatening to flop over. That's what's next. Moon River, da 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 da. Where I planted the radishes between, you know, onions and parsley, they were growing mostly leaf, you know. And I got a good, you know, my second planting, I got a few that were kind of nice roots, kind of reached down there into the seaweed probably and did pretty good, but they were just kind of shading out the leeks and everything, so I just went ahead and yanked those out. And then I realized, you know, I see a lot of pest damage, you know, in this veg here where I had extras and I just jammed them all in. So this is just like a pest fest. And I think I'm just going to yank it all out. Maybe leave the kale, you know. I've got plenty of lettuce. Don't need extra lettuce. Before. After. Oakley dokley, so that bed's kind of cleaned up over there at the far edge. I think I'm gonna wait to clean up the lettuce for another day because I'd like to get this, just throw out this cardboard. We should get some more rain at some point and that'll get all soggy and get stuck to the ground hopefully, and the slugs will want to hide underneath there and I can catch them during the day. I'm out here slug hunting. And there's a little toad down here. Little toad. Hi, buddy. Where is the slug-eaten basil? There it is. Okay, we gotta check for slugs. That is a slug right there. So I think I caught the one slug that is causing all the damage over in the basil. And over on this side with the new basil, I'm seeing a slug on the bok choy. And another slug on the another bok choy here. So I've got my 3 marauding slugs. I'm gonna take them out to the ditch outside the property. It's 3 o'clock in the morning and the sky never really gets 100% dark this time of year. That's what curtains on the windows are for, so you can sleep. Okay, we're gonna dump them out here in the ditch. Hello, hello, hello. I am working on my day off. Today is Sunday and I'm supposed to not be working, but I just have a few things that I really want to get done. I just want to get the seeds, the orach seeds in the ground over here. I think I'm going to yank out this row of baby chard and plant orach in this one, this row, and that far row. And I think I'm going to leave these guys because I'm kind of fiddling with how to cut the chard, how to cut it, how low to cut it so it doesn't grow back with like part leaves like this. Like little part leaves. Before, after. Oakley dokley, folklies, so we are back to the beginning of how we started in the beginning. And this third patch of lettuce is ready to cut, but this first patch that I already cut is ready to cut again. So who knows what I'll do next week? The lettuce mystery continues. Hasta la vista, babies.